Today we're going to talk about why you need to be bored. Imagine being so desperate to escape boredom that you electrocute yourself and experience pain so you don't have to sit there and do nothing. As crazy as that sounds, that's what most men chose to do in this one study. Instead of just sitting there doing nothing, they chose to give themselves an electric shock and experience pain to avoid this one feeling, boredom. Now I know what you're thinking, but before you start judging those men and thinking they're mentally weak, I want you to take a second and think, when was the last time you spent 10 minutes without your phone sitting there and doing nothing? You're probably finding that a little bit hard. So forget 10 minutes. Think, when did you spend 5 minutes without your phone just sitting there with your thoughts? Now realizing it's been a while since you've been without your phone, or you can't even remember the last time your phone wasn't with you, I want you to picture yourself in that same study. You have to sit in a room for 15 minutes. No phone, no book, no TV, no computer, nothing. Just you, your thoughts, a chair to sit on, and a desk with a button on it. But no normal button. If you choose to push that button, it will give you an electric shock. If you can't remember the last time you spent a couple of minutes just doing nothing, just imagine what 15 minutes would feel like, sitting in that room, not having access to anything and being trapped with you and your thoughts. Because of our phones, we've forgotten what it feels like to do nothing and be bored. And that's why during that 15 minutes, over 50% of men chose to shock themselves because they couldn't deal with that feeling of being bored. I know some of you are going to say maybe those men enjoyed pain, so they decided to shock themselves for the buzz of it. And you may be right. 1 or 2 men may have enjoyed the pain, so they just kept on pushing that button for that buzz. But let's be honest here, most guys struggle with boredom, and that is a big problem. I was someone who really struggled with this. I was literally going for my phone every 10 minutes until I practiced this one thing, boredom. If you don't learn how to be bored, it will stop you from locking in and progressing in your life, not only in your business, but also your fitness. When I go to the gym, I see loads of people scrolling on their phone, and the people who are scrolling are the ones that have the least amount of muscle. Because if you're not able to lock in on your business, your gym, your health, your self-improvement, you can't get those gains what other people get. It's only when you're able to lock in and focus that you really get the results. But if you're always distracted because you experience a little bit of boredom, you will miss out on those tiny gains that will change your life. That's why it's so important you learn to be bored and get comfortable with being bored and doing nothing. Your phone can be an awesome tool to make loads of money. But if you're grabbing it as soon as you feel a couple of seconds of boredom whilst you're waiting for the bus, the train, standing in a queue, or sitting at a dinner table with friends, you will be destroying your ability to focus and lock in. That's why you have to learn to put your phone down and be bored. You need to be bored. And once you learn how to be bored, it will have some crazy benefits on your results and your mindset. 1, it'll help you to focus and lock in. Once you start practicing how to be bored, you will rewire your brain to think you don't need your phone every second. Before, whenever you got bored, you go to grab your phone. But once you start to practice being bored and without your phone for a period of time, you will be able to lock in and work. Once I started to practice this, every time I sat down, I was able to work for 3 to 4 hours. Before, I'd be grabbing my phone every 10 minutes. But now, since I've been practicing how to be bored, I find it so easy to lock in for a few hours without needing my phone. And to make sure you really focus and lock in on another level, make sure you put your phone into airplane mode, put your phone in the other room, and turn off all notifications on your laptop. Remove that WhatsApp app, turn it off, shut it down. Make sure you are not getting disturbed by anything. And once you lock in like this and learn how to be bored, you will achieve so much in that short period of time. The second thing it'll do is make boring things more enjoyable. Now, I didn't think this would happen, but it is one of the results of practicing boredom. Because you're sitting there doing nothing, your brain itches to do something, the tiniest thing, so it doesn't feel bored anymore. So as soon as you sit down to work, it actually feels enjoyable. For the first time, you will start enjoying work. That's another reason why you need to practice being bored. The third thing it will do is spark creativity. When you're sitting there doing nothing, your brain will wander. It will go on different kinds of journeys from the past, present and future. And when your brain does this, it sparks another level of creativity. I don't know the science behind it, but all I know is when I've sat there doing nothing for 20 minutes, when I come to work, ideas come a lot easier. Sometimes we think we need to consume more information to help us come up with more ideas, but we've probably consumed so much information over the last few months that our brain hasn't had any time to digest those ideas. So sometimes you need to stop consuming and let your brain relax and think. I used to look for every opportunity to consume ideas and listen to new books. When I go to the gym, I listen to an audiobook. I try listening to one in the evening and one in the morning. I would constantly try to consume information to try to spark those ideas and help me to achieve the things that I want. But I've also come to learn you've just got to give your brain a bit of time to relax and do nothing. And when you do this, ideas will come from all the things you've consumed. That's why I'm not going to consume any new books this month. If anything, next month, I'm going to re-listen to those books I've already listened to see if I can extract any more information from them. But this month, I'm just taking a break. The fourth thing it'll do is improve your mood. Once you sit there and do nothing, you will start to appreciate the small things in life and you will realize how life is really good. You have your health, you have an opportunity to make money, you have an opportunity to get better, you have an opportunity to do whatever you want. Sometimes when we're constantly overthinking, constantly over-consuming, we forget about the small things in life. So take that time to do nothing, be bored and improve your mindset. Learning to be bored can be a little bit challenging at first, but once you master this, it will change your life. So here are some of the things that I do. As soon as I wake up, I turn off my alarm. I don't start scrolling on my phone. Most people who scroll on their phone end up staying stuck in bed for a few hours and they lose the motivation and the desire to work. Because whatever you see on your phone or whatever you hear, it will affect how you feel and if you want to work. That's why as soon as you wake up, you can't go on your phone. I turn off my alarm, I get up, make my bed, I wash my face, I go out on my balcony, I get a bit of sunlight into my eyes for 5 minutes, then I go back to my bed and I sit on my bed for 20 minutes doing nothing. I let my mind wander, I just sit there being bored and I let that itch build up to do something. So as soon as those 20 minutes are over, I'm able to come to my desk and work for 4 hours with no problems at all. Throughout the day, I purposely fast from my phone. When I'm working for 4 hours in the morning, when I take that 15-minute break, instead of going on my phone, I go for a walk. When I go to the toilet, I make sure my phone's on my bed. I don't take it with me. When I'm waiting for my Grab taxi to take me to the gym, I don't go on my phone. When I'm in the gym, currently, I'm not going on my phone. After a couple of months, I may start listening to an audiobook I might start listening to an audiobook, but at the moment, I'm fasting from my phone. In the evenings, when I sit down to eat, I fast from my phone. I'm making a conscious effort to not go on my phone throughout the day. This is making me mentally stronger, it's improving my focus, and it's giving me the ability to work for hours. I also turn off my phone at 10 p.m. so no notifications come in. That gives me 1 hour just to chill out and wind down. I have a shower, I'd spend 20 minutes being bored, and I'd be grateful for the things that I've got in life. And that really helps me to sleep at night. I don't have those crazy dreams. I wake up in the morning fresh. That's why it's so important you turn off those notifications at least 1 hour before bed and allow your brain to be a little bit bored and do nothing. If you do that, I promise you, you will sleep better and you will feel so much better in the morning. At first, being bored can be really hard, but it's changed my life and I actually like being bored and doing nothing. I forgot that feeling for such a long time, but now I actually enjoy it. That's why I want you to practice being bored, because it will improve your life, but it'll also improve your focus, your mindset, and it'll improve your mood. At first, it's going to be a little bit challenging to change your habits, but with time, it will become easier. Being bored has changed my life. That's why I want you to master this one skill. Once you do, you can lock in, and this video will help you to do that.